Well, good morning, everyone. Uh, Back on here again. Give my opinion, Uncle Frank's views. Don't care who likes them, but we're going to give them anyway. Got my coffee. It's a good morning. Antifa. Okay, I want everybody to understand something. I very seldom have ever agreed with anything that orange faced, raccoon headed so called president of ours has ever said or done. But when he called Antifa a terrorist organization, I'm having to agree with him. You look at their history, it goes back a long time. They were a group formed to fight fascism, particularly in Nazi Germany and Mussolini's Italy, but fascism everywhere. And if you look at history, fascism was everywhere. Chiang Kai shek's China was fascist in nature. Many of the Eastern European countries were fascist in nature. So that was their foundation and their roots. That's not their roots anymore. Antifa is an extreme left wing group. No, they are not supported by by the heart of the Democratic Party. They are supported by the extreme left wing progressive faction that's in this country. They are a terrorist slash anarchist organization whose sole purpose is to stir up as much shit as possible between different groups, whites and blacks, whites and Mexicans, Hispanics. I'm not a politically correct person, I'm old fashioned. Uh, Democrats and Republicans, left and right, they don't care who your group is. They want you to be at odds with someone else because that forwards their agenda. Their agenda is anarchy and chaos. They're a bad group. They don't care who dies. They don't care if you die. They don't care if your wife dies. They don't care if your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your children, your grandchildren. They want people to die violently at the hands of another faction that they've stirred up against you. Truth. Truth. You look at it, they are organizing people to go into places for the sole purpose of causing trouble. They're a bad group of people. They need to be eliminated from our society. And I frankly don't care how it's done as long as it's done legally. We're not going to give them an excuse to claim well, we're treated unfairly. No, you will be treated fairly. You're acting a damn fool, and you're going to be treated like a damn fool. And I'm sorry, I'm fixing to piss people off. Black Lives Matter, BLM, was formed for a very legitimate, good reason. There is racism in this country. There is inequality in this country. A black man is far more likely to be rousted by a police officer, regardless of whether the officer's white, black, Hispanic, Oriental, Native American, Martian, than a white man is. We will agree with this. We know this is true. BLM was formed for a very legitimate reason. Those peaceful protesters, hey, you want to go out and protest inequality? I'm all for you. Go out, hold your signs, make your chants, go to the ballot box, vote, get candidates in that you want. Do it legally. I have no problem with that. That's great. That's America. And I'm for everything that is American. Here's my problem. When you're blocking traffic, you're not protesting. When you're harassing people, you're not protesting. When you're damaging property, putting people at risk of injury or injuring people, you're not protesting. You have ceased to be a protester and you have become a criminal. And criminals should be treated as criminals. Plain and simple. There's no other way to put it. You want to hold your sign, you want to make your chants, you want to do that, that's fine. When you put your hands on somebody, you have ceased to become a protester and you have committed assault and battery. That's crime. It needs to be dealt with appropriately, legally, but with what needs to be done to deal with it. And because BLM has basically allowed Antifa to set the agenda on them, I can't support BLM. I think all lives matter. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American. You know what? The Native Americans have more reason to be pissed than anybody. But you don't see them out vandalizing. I don't understand the entire purpose of why are you destroying, if Black Lives Matter, why are you destroying your own neighborhoods? Why are you attacking and damaging things that are of benefit to you? Because Antifa's telling you to. Because Antifa does not like to see prosperous minorities. prosperous minorities are happy with their lives. Yes, they see that changes need to be made, but they've done good for themselves. They've made a life. So we got to destroy their shit so they'll get pissed off. And it doesn't matter. They may even get pissed off at other black people. But that's all right. It's chaos. It's anarchy. And it serves Antifa's agenda. So what the leadership of Black Lives Matters needs to do is, one, they need to tell Antifa to go the fuck away. We're not associated. And they need to do it publicly. Whoever the small committee leadership group of Black Lives Matter on a national level needs to publicly come out and say, we will no longer seek the support of Antifa. We do not want you. Your agenda is not ours. Please do not send people to our protests. Black Lives Matters needs to come out and publicly condemn these acts of violence, these acts of vandalism and property destruction, and say this is not what we are about. But no, they don't. That's, well, that wasn't us, but nobody cries when it's done to us. Yeah, people cry. People get upset. That's why a great amount of your support is from people who aren't black, because they recognize injustice. They recognize that there is racism and racism is wrong. But when you do the things that are going on and being done, you have ceased to be a protester. You have ceased to be a person seeking social change. And you have become a fucking criminal. Criminals need to be dealt with. And they, mark my word and understand, it will be dealt with. And it won't be pretty. And I hate it. I hate it. You're already seeing it. And of course, it's condemned by everyone on the left. All that man and woman out in front of their house with guns. Well, first of all, those weren't peaceful protesters. Those were people that had broke through the gates of a gated community, come on private property, and those people felt threatened and they wanted to make a statement. Should the woman have used a little bit more gun safety? Yeah, obviously she didn't take a lot of gun classes. But I don't think they done anything illegal. And since she's a big time lawyer, I'm sure she looked at the situation and said, yeah, we can go this far and we're good. They made their point. Those people run and they got the hell out of there. You got that sheriff down in Florida that's talking about deputizing legally armed civilians if he feels the need that he doesn't have the manpower to handle a major situation. Well, good. That's what every police chief and every sheriff should do if an emergency comes. Deputize legally trained, legal carry carry permit individuals that are trustworthy and it ain't fools. No, not everybody that's got a carry permit is capable of being deputized, but it won't take you long to figure out who you can. Here's the problem, Antifa. Here's the problem, Black Lives Matter. I'm looping y'all in because until y'all get some sense and kick these Antifa fucks out, you're lumped right in with them. You're doing pretty good in the cities right now. If I was y'all, I wouldn't roam out into the rural areas and start shit, especially down here in the South, because most Southerners fired their first gun when they were 7, 8 years old. Most of the people I know, they own guns. They go out and they expend dozens, if not hundreds of rounds of ammo a month, getting good at using their gun. They know the feel of it. They're good shots. Those are not people that you want to come on their property and make them feel like they, their families, their property is threatened. They don't even have to be good shots. The people who've got bad eyesight, like me, well, you don't need a hell of a lot of eyesight to use a 12-gauge shotgun with double-aught buckshot. And it'll do just as good a job of killing someone as a 9mm from a Glock or a round from an AR-15. Don't fuck up and come out into the country. I'm not threatening violence. I'm just telling you how it's going to be. There's going to be people killed. And then, of course, that's what Antifa wants. So then they can scream, well, those yahoos out in the country in the South, they're all racist. You know, they murdered those. No, ain't no murdering and ain't no peaceful protesters. When you bring your ass out on somebody's private property and you make them feel their life and their family's life and their property is at threat, they're going to respond. Whose fault is that? That's yours for being there because you didn't have no business being there. You're stirring up shit. You're trying to incite violence. And by God, you're liable to end up getting more violence than you counted on. Stop fucking up. Let it go. Don't go out in the country areas and the rural areas, because there's an old saying I heard long ago. Hog eats everything. It don't even leave teeth. It don't leave no DNA. So you go out in the country and fuck around, quite frankly, you may never be found. Again, I'm not inciting violence. I'm just stating a statement of fact. Don't be fucking up. Let this shit go. Let's all calm the fuck down. We got too much shit going on in this country right now for everybody to be fighting each other. Because all we're doing, if you are on the left and are supporting this, then I have to assume you don't like Donald Trump and you'd like to see him out of the White House. Well, understand something. Everything you're doing is playing into the hands of those that want to keep Donald Trump in the White House. You're creating a situation that favors him. So stop. Stop killing people. Stop damaging property. Do your peaceful protest if you want to. But stop acting like a damn fool. Stop these people that are amongst you from acting like a damn fool. If you're doing a peaceful protest and somebody decides they want to pick up a brick and throw it through a window, take that sumbitch away from him and shove it up his ass and tell him go home. Act right, people. That's all I'm asking. Act right. Use the common sense that the good Lord gave most of us to know what's right and what's wrong. Use the ballot box for change. I'm a firm believer in that. The problem is most of these, and I will say what they are, has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with the color of skin. These punk asses that are jumping on elderly people and kids and grown adults when they've got a 10-to-1 advantage and damaging and burning and looting and blocking traffic and busting up people's cars, you punk asses. Well, ain't none of these motherfuckers gonna go out in November and vote. These are not people that vote for the most part. They care less about voting. But what you're doing is you are inciting people who are in the middle, who don't necessarily like Donald Trump. They don't necessarily like Joe Biden, but they might recognize Joe Biden as the lesser of two evils. But you're pushing them to the right. You're pushing them to either vote for Trump or not vote at all. And if we want Trump out of there, we need every person to vote that we can possibly get. So you're defeating your own purpose. Doing stupid shit, violence. I see on the news the mayor up there in Seattle or whatever has finally ordered the police to take back the so-called autonomous zone. Well, that should have been done 2 weeks ago. That should have been done the day after it was taken. It should never have been abandoned by the police anyway. It was done on the orders of the mayor. That should never have happened. Assert authority once again. Remove the criminal element from these protests and get the change that I think we all need, but do it peacefully and legally. We need unity in this country. We don't need chaos and anarchy. This is Uncle Frank. Now that I've got my blood pressure up sky high, I'll tell y'all a good day and God bless.